That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the first installment of our recaps for the Pixar SparkShorts series. That's right. It's a series of adult-orientated Pixar films. I'm sure Dragon can explain it better than I can. Adult-orientated Pixar short films, not necessarily adult-orientated, just taking on some more mature subject matter, some more colorful themes and ideas that you wouldn't normally associate with Pixar, or at least you'd say like, "Wow, this is really Pixar taking a risk, man. This is some adult storytelling from Pixar's front." And the first one we have on the docket tonight is Dragon
Purl!
and Purl.
No, not that Purl. Different Purl, but still good Purl.
Yeah, so Dragon, let's just get right into it. We are talking Pearl. We have wanted to do this for a while now. Fate has kind of intervened in the form of like, hey, we're gonna do Pearl tonight. No, wait, the Aladdin trailer. All right, we're gonna do it tonight. No, wait, the Endgame trailer. So it's like, alas, folks, fate has led us to this very night where we will finally be covering Pearl in all its glory, in all its essence. And Dragon, I have to say, I like this one a lot. I've watched it about 3 times, so I've really had a chance to digest it and really get the themes and the running kind of motifs and everything like that, all the symbolism. And man, I think it's really smart. I think it's a commentary not only on, identity politics in the workplace, but it's a commentary on the whole idea of that in general, that it should even be an issue. So I don't know. It's like it's got a lot of things to say. I feel like we're gonna have an interesting conversation here. As a rule, Dragon, I don't like to talk politics on the channel, but I feel like with shorts like this, we're gonna have to maybe bend the rules just a little bit on this particular installment. So, folks, if you don't want us talking about identity politics, by all means, I'd probably suggest just skip it to the next podcast. But if you've seen this, if you're like us and you're kind of wrapped up in the SparkShorts project and you really want to see where this is headed, then by all means, we're not going to wait. We're not going to kind of sit on our thumbs to do the next one. The next one's probably going to be pumped out soon. I can't guarantee exactly when, but we're going to try and get these out in a semi-regular basis now that we've covered the first one. So, Dragon, what did you think of Pearl?
Purl is. Purl, I really liked Purl, and I still, out of the three shorts, I mean, Purl's probably my favorite, but I love that we have three very distinct, interesting shorts. But my God, Purl, it was a really strong start for the SparkShorts program that really dazzled me. It had a really great sense of character, had a great sense of as a personal. Basically, all these shorts are very creator driven. This one has a really nice story behind it, but also it's a really I don't know. It hits me in all the right ways, and it kind of hits me in kind of what for the SparkShorts in the first place with Borrowed Time. It feels very much in that route of that it's Pixar, but again, it's kind of basically I call all these kind of these unofficial Pixar shorts in a way because that's kind of what they are. They're kind of like they're not for theatrical release, which kind of allows them to be a little bit more gutsy, a little bit more like kind of firing from the hip and just like, yeah, let's just cut to it, man, and let's just let's not shy away from things like we usually do. But again, we're Pixar, which means we're definitely gonna move some people. We're gonna talk about the big things. We're not gonna shy away from it. By the same token, we get a little bit more direct with the message, which is kind of cool. So Pearl's got a sense of fun. It's
We're
got a
going to
sense of
say
relatability.
ass.
Well, if you want to put it like that, sure. But yeah, it's Pearl. Pearl is probably my favorite of the ones so far. I did have a great time with Pearl.
And Dragon, I'm taking these like as they come, so I haven't watched the other two yet. Just kind of taking that into account, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. But yeah, I really like what I see in it. You know more about the SparkShorts like mission statement than I do, so I'll let you explain that really quick here. But just generally speaking, I was delighted by this. It had a strong sense of identity, a strong sense of world building, and it really stood out in terms of just being a great kind of motif driven little short that's very much in kind of like the illogical logic magical realism wheelhouse that you and I love. It's got like a fun corporate setting that Howard Hamlin would very much be at home in, that I kind of appreciated. Basically, Dragon, she's in a world of Hamlins. That's how I viewed this short.
Well, none as finely dressed as Howard Hamlin, though. Not a splash of Hamlindigo blue anywhere.
Fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, without further ado, Dragon, unless you have anything more to say on your kind of thesis, do you want to explain the SparkShorts of it all?
Yeah, sure. I'll
All
start
right.
there. So Pearl was inspired by essentially what happened was Pixar inspired by the success of Borrowed Time, the unprecedented success of Borrowed Time. Where essentially, for any who may not be aware, and they could also check this out on the channel, by the way, because we did a recap on this. It actually got the attention of the creators of said short. Borrowed Time was, again, kind of like an unofficial Pixar short that kind of the animators at Pixar worked on, and basically it was so good and kind of worked up a little bit of acclaim, and it eventually was nominated for Best Short of the year it came out. And unfortunately, here's the thing: I think we all agree that it should have won. It was nominated, but I believe it
Remind me
lost.
what won that year?
Well, if I'm remembering correctly, Piper won. So that means it was 20 same year as
Hyper won
Finding.
probably just based on the technology.
It was the same year as Finding Dory, which puts it at 2016, I think.
I mean, Piper's not bad. Just Borrowed Time has so much more substance to it. Piper's,
It does, and
but
it does, and that's the point. So again, Borrowed Time had a lot more substance. It was something different, something new from Pixar. And Piper, don't get me wrong, like
right.
any short, Pixar shorts in their nature, and even with these, in their nature, they're testing out new technologies, but also kind of dazzling you with the animation and the storytelling without usually with minimal to no dialogue. And of course, we kind of change that a little bit up here. Point being, inspired by the success of Borrowed Time, Pixar initiates the SparkShorts program, basically making the unofficial official somewhat.
I love that.
So what happens again? Basically, it's
It's
Pixar
almost
kind
like
of
Pixar's like super classy version of Adult Swim.
pretty much, yeah. It's kind of Pixar. This is the thing I love about Pixar. I love I love so much about Pixar. But I mean, in looking at in regards to the shorts here, I love that Pixar. They know a good idea when they see it, and it's not they're still stealing a good idea. They're like saying, you know what, we have all this technology. We trust our animators. They do amazing work, and like, what's the best morale booster of all? Let's let them cut loose. Test out some new stuff without kind of like waiting for a project to cut loose with. Let's just say, hey guys, okay, we have a few slots open. Just sign up for them and by all means, just if you have an idea, you have a short you want to tell, do it, and just kind of enter it within the SparkShorts program. The SparkShorts program, more accurately, the credo is this: at least the first round of SparkShorts, it's 6 shorts in 6 months.
Okay.
With all basically with all the Pixar's resources and even the untested kind of the new shiny toys in the toy box, as it were, new resources as well as old resources, all the toys in the toy box. Which of course leads to a lot of new and experimental techniques as well as ideas, and again, just like a great brand of creativity for these shorts. So again, point being, they have 6 months to do these, and they're going to have 6 shorts being worked on simultaneously by 6 different creative teams. That's the idea. That's the premise.
Gotcha.
So Purl specifically, so the story behind Purl is this. So it is directed and written by Kristen Lester. Now, Kristen Lester, she was a story artist, and I noticed they've been pulling a lot of Tartakovsky talent on this, oddly enough. So a lot of Gendy's guys worked on a few of these shorts like that.
Guys.
Yeah, Gendy's guys.
Louise boys.
So Kristen, she worked on Symbiotic Titan, which I gotta tell you, I loved how that show looks. I never fully got into it, but it looked like it was really good. It looked like again, it was in kind of that had that Tartakovsky magic. It was kind of like this is like Tartakovsky having a brand style. That's kind of what that show was, which I think is why I didn't keep up with. It's like, yeah, it looks good, it just looks like generic, like Tartakovsky gold. No, the point being, so Kristen Lester, she's a story artist, and that was like one of the noteworthy things that she had done. But Kristen, she had an idea. Basically, she based the idea off of a real life experience. So, the short in itself is about belonging. Kind of being an outsider in some variety, and kind of looking for a sense of belonging. And it's based on her first experiences in animation as the only woman at her former workplace. She was at a workplace. She was the only woman on the production, and basically, she was mentally one of the guys. She kind of let me rephrase it. She kind of entered the one of the guys' mentality while she worked at that place. She basically kind of like, she was the only woman among the men, so she kind of befriended the men as she relates, and kind of as we kind of see a little bit of it here in Purl, she had the 9 to 5 working girl kind of movie experience where, it's like, hey, oh man, we don't like her. She's a girl. This is a men's environment. And of course, she's okay. I'm going to be the manliest man amongst the guys. I'm going to befriend the guys. I'm one of the guys. And essentially, she had one of those experiences in animation. And that's how she, again, but still she kind of denied who she was in favor of just kind of being kind of like a group mentality. And that's kind of what her experience was. I don't know which company she was with before Pixar specifically. I don't want to throw them under the bus either, but let's just say she eventually finds her way to Pixar, which of course Pixar, they embrace everybody. They thrive on creativity. Everyone having a different take on everything.
So the ending is basically propaganda for Pixar, then.
Well, I mean, in essence, yeah, it's kind of like her former animation job meeting her new animation job.
I'm just joking around.
Look at it that way. And and in terms of like why a ball of yarn, you may ask. Simple answer. She has a hobby called yarn bombing. So yarn bombing, in essence, is basically when you see Pearl's desk and kind of the things in Pearl's box right now. If you kind of look really closely, it's basically when you kind of you yarn and crochet stuff on top of existing items. That's yarn bombing.
Okay.
Essentially, it's kind of her love of yarn bombing, again, with the whole like embracing yourself message, as well as, again, just kind of the whole workplace experience that gets us Purl. And it kind of got a lot of traction. It's like she got people on her side, like, yeah, I want to tell this story. This really speaks to me. Let's do this. And ipso facto, we get Purl.
All right, so let's, without further ado, Dragon, unless you have anything else that we need to cover, do you want to
well, we have Donovan Martin in the comments. I wanted to welcome him, as we're getting into this.
Also, speaking of Donovan Martin, he's been requesting it. Do you want to make the announcement?
No, why don't you take that one?
All right, so folks, the day has finally come. So You Want to Be an Imagineer has Twitter. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right, I'll shut up. So yes, that's right. Mostly, folks, for the time being, I'm going to be taking the first week or two to really get my bearings on it, really know what I'm doing. But at the very least, you guys can follow me, and we can kind of get an open dialogue going. Like, it's all about communicating with the fans. You guys really asked for it, and so I am delivering it. The tweet, the account is going to be in the video description. It is at SYWTBAI55. And what does that stand for, Dragon?
So You Want to Be an Imagineer 55.
And what does the 55 represent?
Very beginning, the beginning of Disney.
That's right. The opening year of Disneyland, 1955 to be exact. So, once again, that's SYWTBAI55 at SYWTBAI55. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. All right. All right. And folks, basically what we're going to be doing on there, of course, it'll be a one-stop shop for you to find all our latest content, as well as different Imagineering, like armchair Imagineering ideas that I'll be posting from time to time. Maybe some concept art from different Imagineering competitions that are going on WDW Magic. Who knows? Maybe even some like rapid fire brainstorming prompts. I might just go on there at some point and be like, hey guys, design a drink fountain in a Disney park for me. And you guys can do it and have fun with it. At least that's how I envision it in my head, Dragon. I'm not sure how it'll go, but people are wanting it. And I'm very happy with the way the channel's been growing over the past few months. I really am. And so let's do it, Dragon. Let's take this channel to the next step. And with that in mind, I feel like it's very appropriate, Dragon, that the first post Twitter podcast that we're doing is Pixar related. I think there's something symbolic about that. Not only
Sure.
Pixar related, but it's Pixar. Say it with me, Dragon. It's a famous Red Letter Media quote. Pixar is breaking new
New
ground.
ground!
All right.
It broke new ground!
All right. So, yes, Dragon. Hello to Donovan Martin. Thank you. You've been one of the big supporters of us getting a Twitter. So look forward to hearing what you have to say about that. And in the meantime, Dragon, do you have anything else to go over? Or should we dive right into it?
Let's dive right into it.
All right. So, what do you think about the logo for SparkShorts? Let's just admire it for a second.
I love the logo for SparkShorts. It's kind of it's the Luxo bulb, the kind of operating with the Luxo
It's
lamp,
so
pretty much.
classy. It just radiates class. It's like the world's most elegant Pixar themed cocktail bar.
Yep, belongs to the Pixar pier. All right. So the short starts with Bro Capital. So Bro Capital. By the way, all the employees at Bro Capital are actual Pixar employees doing the voices for them. By the way, kind of the odds and ends guys. They're
Okay.
doing the voices. None that I'm uber familiar with. So I saw top like no major like none of our brain trust guys there, but I'm sure like a lot of really talented animators doing the voices. Um, Let's see. So we kind of establish we see the established norm here. We kind of establish the norm as we're in the elevator, and basically one of the Bro Capital employees is kind of giving the walkthrough, just kind of a welcome wagon to a new employee, kind of a new hire, as it were. And we have well, before that we see the place as it's operating normally before we get into the elevator. Like we're seeing some water cooler conversation, very kind of traditional office stuff. We see the
Mhm.
conference room, then we get to the elevator.
And the guy is the first thing we see of him is he's checking the sports score. He's trying to attend to this new employee, but instead he's more focused on the score. He's like, "Yes, the Tigers are up by 20 points." Anyways, it's an entry level field, but your resume was by far the strongest. I'm sure you'll fit right in. And then what does he see, Dragon?
Little ball of yarn.
Purl.
Yep,
It's
good old Purl.
Purl.
Yes, just to pump the brakes on Pro for a moment here. I just wanted to establish a little bit about Bro Capital. So Bro Capital, I
All right,
like
all
the
right.
so Bro Capital in itself, as you probably imagine, with a name like Bro Capital, they have no. I love this. They had no idea. Kristen Lester, she had no idea what Bro Capital does because that's not the point. They're just talking generic business, and that's what's hilarious about this too. Because they're just the idea is that they're obviously there's kind of a vague there's a vague masculine broy environment going on here. Hence the whole bro capital of it all. It's a very broy environment within business, but again, the dialogue plays for non-bros and it plays for non-business bros, as it were. Where you don't need to know all the ins and outs of business because again, it's all about just kind of the broy communal environment. That's what it's all about. Like talking about scores and all sorts of stuff, and just kind of water cooler talk. And again, it doesn't matter what they're saying, but it matters that they know what they're saying. And again, it's enough there for the layman. So I love that.
Mm.
All right, so we meet Purl. Purl, our lovable ball yarn. So Donovan pointed this out. We got to talk about this because this is one of the really cool things about the animation software they used here.
Yes.
Of course, the texture mapping. Pixar just keeps getting better and better with texture mapping to the point where it's ridiculous how good they're getting at texture. But Purl looks exactly like a ball of yarn, like all the interwoven kind of like the fibers of the yarn, the whole 9 yards. What's really cool about Purl beyond just the texture of it all, as Donovan points out, is has a stop motiony look, and I always love that with Purl. Is kind of the animation on like how the mouth moves. It's not. It's kind of hard to describe like how, but you know what I'm talking about, right? There's a bit of a stop motiony quality to how Purl moves and how she's
Yeah,
animated,
the
right?
way I got the vibe I got off that was like in addition to just the general appearance, the animation on her is also off. It's another way for her to kind of stand out.
I think it has something to do with frame rate. I believe they're stripping out some frames on her
Something
there
like that, yeah.
because that's pretty much what they do in the Lego movies. They kind of add or take away
Oh,
frames for the Lego movie, and I believe that some form of that. But again, that mixed with kind of you have a very streamlined character in terms of complex to kind of bring to life, but still kind of streamline that. It's very it's a circle with kind of thread. Literally, it's kind of Pixar's version of Pixar being as impressive as they are. This is their version of a stick drawing. The Pixar version of a
Right,
stick drawing
right.
is this really beautifully rendered ball of yarn, but it's the most exquisite ball of yarn you ever seen. Anyway, so Pearl, a little ball of pink yarn, pink being the opposite, pink yarn, being all nice and optimistic. It's
One might say
unbelievable.
she's a pink pearl.
Yes, one could say that. So Pearl here, she has this great line. Says, "It's unbelievable that I'm really here." She's just
And
so
then the guy's
happy.
like, yes, yes, it's, and then he sees Pearl. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So again, we have like a whole full circle thing going on. She says unbelievable. He says unbelievable. And it's like, oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, right,
unbelievable.
right, yeah.
But also a little fun fact. So Pearl is voiced by Brett Parker. Brett Parker, being a really talented animator at Pixar, as well as the voice of Kari the babysitter. I'm Kari the
Oh wow,
babysitter.
nice, nice. Okay.
Kari the babysitter. That's Brett Parker.
Iconic Pixar role that many people grew up with.
Yes, and again, she's really good. She's, I believe, in addition to voicing Kari, she did animation on both Incredibles movies as well as Inside Out. That's something I believe she did. I'm sure she's
Uh,
done other things in the meantime. I think she's done other things. I don't know if she's broken into the story department, but I know she's a really talented animator because you see her. Well, I don't want to bore you all the details, but Brett Parker. Let's just say she's really good. And again, also good when she does some voice work here, which again, Kari the babysitter, now Purl. She's got a main one. She's got Purl, darn it. So she's given an ID badge, and this ID badge is going to be a really big, important symbol later on. So kind of bash that away in the old memory banks, folks. It's going to come back. And of course, she's very optimistic. I have a good feeling about this. She's kind of in the solo mentality. I have a good feeling about this. It's
oh
going to go
God.
great.
Yeah, sure.
So then, so let's see. So of course,
I used to
this.
have a good feeling about that movie based on that clip.
Yeah.
Used to.
All right. So, anyway, so the point is, so this is when we start to get into the next level stuff, the whole breaking new ground quality.
Break new ground.
If you say groundbreaking, it just takes all the fun out of it. If you say it broke new ground, we're trailing off. Point being, this is where we get into the kind of the next level of kind of storytelling. This is where we get to the kind of the door that's kind of been cracked and kind of kicked open with SparkShorts. That we've always had the door cracked and wonderfully cracked with Pixar. It's like how Monsters Inc. Like when a door is cracked, it means like endless possibilities are outside, just waiting for you to walk through the door. In this case, SparkShorts kind of kicks the door open, but it kind of nudges it until bam, where where we have these really great human bits, these really great human relatable bits pulled from the real world, where we have this real world ostracization captured in animation flawlessly, where we have the guy, the tour guide, texting on his phone like this whole, like, can you believe we have a ball of yarn in the office, essentially? And he kind of is caught by Pearl, just, and he hits the send button. You hear that send button, and the minute the doors open, everyone gets the same text simultaneously on their phone, and they all look to her, not staring daggers, but they're all staring at her. And again, like the guy just kind of wanders off. And again, we achieve just kind of real world ostracization so well in that moment. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a great, just really, really well crafted moment where it's just it's Pixar kind of like, to quote another famous internet quote, Dragon, it's Pixar at the height of their powers.
Sure.
No,
So
I'm
again, see.
it really does illustrate kind of like, as you said, just the feeling of being ostracized in a moment. It really, like, it's kind of like a Polaroid, it's like it just kind of captures the moment so well. It's really vivid.
Again, this short's roughly like 7 minutes, right? It's like you're not counting like
It's
the
like
Spark
eight
Shorts.
minutes. I'd say like 8 minutes, and then the credits take up like the change roughly.
Sure, sure. And in that time, you have to really hit your animation beats, otherwise things are going to fall through. And again, they hit their beats like a huge beat like this right out the gate, and of course, it's just kind of helps set the stage for the rest of it to unfurl. So it's just great.
Uh-huh.
And so she's walking, she's getting a lot of stares by people, and this is where I think this is the brilliance, this is the illogical logic of it all hitting perfectly right here. Well, the illogical logic is a little bit later on, but this is where we hit kind of the genius of the premise right here. So we have again the relatable issue of your new person at the workplace. And I love this. Is the great thing about it. It doesn't necessarily have to relate to being a woman in the workplace. That does play. Obviously, I think
I
that the
mean, you're
main.
right, Dragon. It's like, to me, here's the way I read it.
Okay.
Is it's almost kind of like a Rorschach. It can be whatever you want it to be. It could be someone who's a different race at the workplace. It could be a woman at the workplace. Dragon, for me, one of the things that I kind of resonate with it is that, I have a mental illness, and, it's kind of like I'm the odd one out in that regard at the workplace. You know what I mean? So I feel like the balls of yarn are a really great kind of symbolic point for any sort of any ostracizing that you might go through in the workplace. Because why that works so well as a symbol is that yarn can be crafted into anything, as we kind of see in this short. And so, because yarn can be crafted into anything, I feel like that's why there's no one answer for what the yarn's supposed to represent. The yarn is supposed to represent kind of like a multitude of different reasons why you could be ostracized at the workplace, including, it doesn't even have to be a race thing or a gender thing. It could just be simply you're being ostracized because you're the new guy. You know what I mean? It's like it could be as simple and as surface level as that, and you could still relate to it.
Precisely, and that's what's genius about it. Again, like in itself, again, it plays on its face too. Like even if you sat a kid down, you made him watch this, you could get the same point of like again, it's the absurdity before it's. So there's an element of comedy to this as well. Again, it's a sobering lesson, but by the same token, it is also really funny in the absurdity of again, it's absurdity of like a ball of yarn at a human workplace. That in itself is quite hilarious. But what's more funny and more interesting is the fact that again, that's not what's throwing them per se. I mean, again, that's basically using the the ball of yarn as the difference, as like again as the unifying, like in difference, being the unifying factor. Like it could be again fill in for anything that would ostracize a person at a workplace, as you just went into, and that's the genius of it right there. Again, just unified under the absurdity. It's great.
Yeah. All right.
As I said, Purl finds her desk, and of course, we see all these yarn bombed, things, items, kind of pulled out from her box and put on the table. Like she's got like a yarn bombed flower and laptop cover and everything. And we have we have a lot of risque jokes in this, like around the water cooler before we get to kind of Pearl's big kind of moment. That a lot of people are really not harping. A lot of people are really taking notice of the big moment of Pearl later on because the first time it's kind of happened in Pixar's.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But
I don't even really think it's that big of a deal because
it's not. But apparently, people are making it a big deal. Which is
it's not like we haven't seen it in like other like DreamWorks movies and stuff.
If you want to be technical, Cars was the first movie to have a curse word in it. Technically, if you want to be uber technical, yes, but I mean, not a real thing anyway. Anyway, so what was I getting at? Oh yes, so we have some risque jokes here. We have like, what's the difference between a porcupine and a BMW? With a porcupine, the pricks are on the outside. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
That kind of shocked me, Dragon. I must admit that to me is the most shocking joke in the whole thing. Not the thing that Purl says later. The thing Purl says later is kind of par for the course for animation.
Right. So let's see. So Purl, she enters on the laugh here. So again, like they're all
okay.
laughing.
Dragon, this is to me the most personal moment of the whole short for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I have been in this position where it's like I want to make a good first impression. I know that one of my strengths is my sense of humor, and so I just go in there and I just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna swoop in with a joke, I'm gonna win the crowd, and it just falls like a lead balloon, Dragon. It just tanks. It makes you look worse in their eyes than you ever thought you could.
Yeah, I've had some of those moments.
Have you experienced something like that?
I've had a few. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've had these moments. But yeah, so Pearl. I just love how Pearl enters the frame. Though I love how they're all laughing, and Pearl's just there with her coffee cup, like ha ha ha. We just pan down to reveal her, and then of course she tries her failed joke. Why do spiders weave webs? Because they don't know how to crochet.
What is that? Some kind of sport?
Oh god, and they're just no crochet like needles, knitting needles, and like pointing at the guys. Love the these are the details I love in the animations. Like she's pointing at the cup, and like they captured a joke bombing like no one else, man. It was like how you like again next to the Marlin from Finding Nemo. Have we done something like a joke bombing like that? But again, this is more personable, more like kind of in the real world where it's just like telling
Well,
like a
it's like the nightmare of like being on stage in your underwear equivalent of a joke bombing. You know what I mean? It just cuts raw.
the only man who could make a bomb joke work was Johnny Carson. He's the only man who could ever because he would do like he would have like the best responses to a joke not winning because he would win people back with the fact that the joke failed, which made it even funnier than if the joke worked. He'd be like,
Mhm.
it's just he just basically he'd say a joke that bombed, that didn't play with the audience, didn't get like a huge laugh or anything, and then a moment would pass, and he'd act like he saw something flying around the stage, and like a fly would land in his hands. Says, "Oh, I'm sorry, there are those. I see the flies buzzing around that joke," and he win him over.
Right,
Great.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so so yeah, let's see. So yeah, very relatable moment there. And then she kicks her mug because again she's kind of starting to reject. And again, I guess you get to see what Kristen Lester kind of went through in her previous animation job. I'm sure she tried to make a good impression. And then of course something's like, nope, dude. Again, she's not initially jiving in her being herself, and of course that will kind of lead to the big change. And of course, like she's kicking the mug, which is representative of who she is. And again, if you want to really look into it, put under microscopes, like, again, she's slowly starting to reject who she is, like, again,
Mhm.
subconsciously. By kicking that mug, and again, in kicking the mug, her leg begins to tangle, and again, like kind of the vulnerability and the drawback to basically a symbol of her being an outsider is that she's a ball of yarn. Again, before we say what again, before we label it, which again, if we label it precisely, we're kind of taken away from all like again the kind of the Rorschachian kind of quality of it, which again we were kind of speaking of earlier. So kicks in again, she's all tangled up, being a ball of yarn. I'm like, oh boy. But since she kind of has to limp to the meeting because she's still tangled in the legs. So she's late to the staff meeting. So they call a staff meeting in the conference room. And this is fine. To me, this is classic Pixar, all the way dating back to Toy Story, where Andrew Stanton's writing style is that he loves to like Pixar. They love to make fun of a character at their lowest point, and because it is kind of funny, and they know how to like make it again without making it offensive. They know how to like Buzz can't fly, therefore he sees a bird flying through the window. Like that's an example of Pixar making fun of their guy when they're at a low point. It's an emotional moment, but at the same time, it's really kind of funny too. It's like, oh, he just can't win. We
Yeah,
kind of do
yeah.
that here, where Pearl's already having a lousy day, and then we just have this great gag where she's in the conference room, and they have like this projections chart here, and it's basically a big pink circle that looks exactly like a ball of yarn, looks exactly like Pearl. It's just, we got a big fat failure on our hands.
God.
It's just a great
Yeah,
visual
it's just
gag.
like I don't know. To me, I almost kind of read that as almost sort of like symbolic. Well, of course, it's symbolic. You know what I mean? But like, it's like it just kind of adds to the magical realism of it all. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like it's almost like a dreamlike world that they create where these characters like kind of coexist as both living creatures and human beings and like walking metaphors.
In this case, literally. So Pearl tries to squeeze in. Of course, they're not making room for her. And she gets kind of squashed in between the guys, and she's reading the paper. And I love this. I love that out of all the men there, she gives an actual suggestion, like an actual strategy. Like, why don't we knit? Why don't we knit the strategies together? Essentially, why don't we knit the strategies together? And then, of course, one of them just they basically. I love this. They unify in their rejection of an idea. They've been waiting to unify in a rejection of the idea, and they only reject it because it came from the new person. You're being too soft. We gotta be aggressive. They can basically see. I think we see the folly of Bro Capital here. Bro Capital. They have a heated meeting, and then they all get sidetracked with being broy in the meeting, and then they just kind of like take a lunch break, and then they come back like, okay, well, we're gonna basically rinse and repeat. I think that's what happens. Because technically they go on 2 breaks during the whole workday. It's kind of funny.
Oh.
So it's like, you're being too soft. We have more aggressive. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're like, just in the air, and they basically knock her chair spinning like it's a pinball machine or something. And she ends up getting all tangled in the chair, which delays her from getting out of the meeting. And of course, we have, okay, guys, we'll put a pin in it here. It's two for one day. It's 2 for 1 day. Sorry, it's 2 for 1 wings at Swifties.
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 This podcast brought to you by Swifties.
This podcast is also brought to you by Anubis Food Markets. Food so good you can eat it.
Oh God.
Oh, God bless Joe Leahy. Anyway, so we have the elevator bit. Tell them about the elevator bit.
Oh man, this is also heartbreaking. It's also very relatable. So basically, they're all getting in the elevator to go to, the half off wings at Swifty's Happy Hour. And who doesn't want half off wings, Draken? Who doesn't want to be a part of that? And then she gets the door slammed in her face, and they're questioning, like, "Hey, do we have everybody?" And one of the guys turns around, clearly sees Purl in the doorway, and is like, basically almost like half to her face. He's like, "Yes, we have everybody."
All right, we got to talk about the music. Music is really good in this.
First round, worked out, Kurkonski. Go ahead.
Sorry, I guess why. Anyway, but yes, I believe the composer did a really great job on this because I love the score in this thing, especially you kind of have a really nice jazzy score, and of course we have like kind of those great emotional lows in the score as well, and of course we have really great musical theme here. I believe it's Pinar Toprak. Pinar Toprak does the score. Also, the one who did the score for Captain Marvel, by the way. I think did a better job here, let's say the least, but Anyway, so yes, Pearl's alone, and she's, to me, I read it as she's contemplating quitting because she's beginning to box her stuff up, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's contemplating quitting on her first day. Poor Purl. My sympathy goes out to this little ball of yarn. So she looks at her ID badge, and then she looks to the wall. She's basically sitting adjacent from the kind of the Employee of the Month placards or the employee placards. Like they're all basically all these men in suits under Bro Capital, like kind of the little employee family. So she's looking at it. And then she kind of picks up on the uniformity idea. And again, this is kind of the message of what Kristen Lester's going for here. Like, one of the guys, kind of the 9 to 5 working girl of it all here. Like, okay, I got to become one of the guys. We've even seen this on Hey Arnold, remember, with Miriam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
almost kind of reminds me of the Employee of the Month thing. Speaking of Nickelodeon, does remind me of SpongeBob as well. I got to.
Sure. Squidward laughing maniacally as he overtakes the wall. Anyway, so basically she gets the uniformity idea of, okay, how do I get a sense of belonging amongst these guys? How do I kind of join them? And so she gets an idea. She heads to the restroom, which again, a little pink circle in the restroom, by the way. Again, that's pretty much as close as they get to really spelling it out that yes, the whole, they're I think first and foremost, if they're going for any correlation against women at the workplace, given the genesis of the whole short. So again, that's the closest they really get to it. But even then, again, you could always just write it off. It's just a bathroom. You don't have to look too much into it, but regardless, if you wanted to.
Sure.
It's the bathroom, and she knits up a storm with some very kind of monochromatic fabrics. Well, monochromatic yarn, I guess. So then the guys return from Swifties. So presumably it's the same work day, presumably. I mean, it could be day 2, but I'm just going to assume it's the same day because it sounds like they went out for lunch. I don't know. Anyway, they return from Swifties, and Tiki, what do they see?
They see a crocheted, purled Purl, if you will, Dragon. A Purl who is knitted in the fashion of Purl, if that makes any sense.
Is Purl in a power suit? That's right. Purl is she's in this power suit, which looks good. Here's the thing, she's flat. So Purl is flat and in a power suit.
That's what I'm saying, Dragon. The flat design specifically is literally called Purl in the knitting community.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's why her name is Purl.
Oh, cool, man. That makes us even better.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so again,
the more you know.
This today's lesson is brought to you by the letter P for Purl. Anyway, so so kind of Purl in the power suit, the 3 Ps as it were. So a triple P in the morning here. She greets Gronkowski just like this great bit where the guy's walking. Gronkowski. Again, just very kind of flat in the delivery as well, just like Gronkowski. And again, the desk is kind of on yarn bombed, just kind of looking all business. And now they're kind of taking notice. Like, did someone always sit there? I love this too. Like, they're kind of looking over there, and like we just see kind of the average desk, and she has like their coffee mug, and just gives them the finger, kind of like, just like, yeah, yeah. So, kind of work goes on. She's just kind of working, doing her thing there. Then we have the water cooler scene. They're all water
Yeah.
cooler.
Hold on. Sorry, a little mixed up on my place.
Well, she slides through the seat that heads of the. She's like excited. Oh, it's working, and she slides out of her seat into her pearl, or I guess her pearl state. Just kind of. I just love how she can just kind of slide out from under things. She doesn't have to pull the chair out. Then she heads to the water cooler where all the guys are, and she basically she's at the water cooler and she's telling a joke, her own joke.
I don't have the joke written down, Dragon. Unfortunately, do you
have
it?
Yes, the joke essentially is. So I tell her this suit's expensive, baby, but in my apartment it's 100% off.
Oh God, that's great.
It is a good edgy joke. You can really with the jokes again for Pixar, which is lovely. It's a great change of pace. I gotta be honest, it's fun, and of course now the guys are on her side again. This is the 9 to 5. They're all kind of starting to be in effect here, where it's like now they're all gravitating towards her, and she's the most popular employee of the day, and just saying, oh man, she does better jokes than you do. I'm putting down the other guy. That's all great. And then we have a very then we have the next conference scene. So again, I love that we're economizing our time in our story beats so well here, Tiki. Just think about it. We do all these beats in like kind of the first half of her worst first day ever. Now we're kind of buying it back with all these scenes being played out again, but again with more of a success rate going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we check in with a little bit later on towards the very end. So again, we're repeating bits, but we're kind of nice structural stuff is what I'm getting at. Anyway. So now we see like a different visual image here. It's like 90% success. You know, guys, it looks exactly like Purl, I guess. Yeah, it's power suit Purl, essentially. It's not what it looks like in the background. Say, okay, guys, we're looking good, but we need, and of course, before that, then Purl interjects with what?
Dragon, I'm sorry. I don't. My notes are kind of badly written.
Her point is, she says, "Let's go for it."
I say we go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And finances doesn't like it. They can kiss our ass.
Yes, that's exactly it. So, again, this definitely is the big. So a lot of people point out, like, yeah, man, they're really swinging for the fences here. It's like, yeah, this basically is the thing that signifies, yeah, we're going very borrowed time with this. We're in a new world, folks. We're in the post-borrowed.
It's very much like it's in a different territory from borrowed time, where it's like, I don't know, like borrowed time was very, very, very grandiose and serious, whereas this, it's still got a message to it. It's still got commentary to it. But it's a lot more tongue-in-cheek.
Yes. So, yes. So then, they're all high-fiving, they're all cheering against, again, Purl's kind of owning the room right now, so then they're going for happy hour. Okay, it's time for happy hour at Swifty. So, again, it must be the same day. Now it's happy hour, so.
Mm.
So, and of course, then we repeat the elevator moment. She's kicking that door open. They're all heading in the elevator, and we just have this bit like, "Hey, is that everyone?" And we're like, "Hold up!" And we have the music playing, which, by the way, Donovan concurs that the music is great in this.
It is.
Also, on the scene that just passed, Donovan was literally shocked and laughing in his seat when the whole when the meeting happened. The big kind of edgy meeting happened.
Mm-hmm.
Finance doesn't like it, all that stuff. So, so anyway, so we have this moment where, the music's playing. This is what I'm loving with the score here, where, we just have it's all calm, cool, and jazzy, and then we have this fantasy montage. Is that everybody? No, not yet. That's not everybody. Of course, they're welcoming Purl now, and Purl, and I'm like, am I in? It's like, yeah, you're so in, man. Get in that elevator. So as Purl's heading to the elevator, we kind of slow things down and then slow them as they're all saying, "Oh, Purl, you're gonna love Swifties. You need so many.
You're gonna eat so many wings." That's my favorite line in the whole. How excited he is about that. And then the fantasy sequence, right?
Yes, the fantasy of the new status quo that Pearl's is kind of entering. Basically, the working girl montage that we don't necessarily have.
This is like the 9 to 5 thing you were talking about.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is the This is the 9 to 5 thing per se. And again, she's literally modeled it after 9 to 5. So it's literally it's kind of. So we have like they're going to basketball games as if we're the Lakers or something, or say they're in a limo drinking. I love there's a lot of alcohol in this too. That's the other borrowed time of it all here, folks. Again, this is SparkShorts, man. We can get away with it. You're like they're drinking in limos very unsafely.
Yeah.
And they're at a bar, and again, like drinking so much that she throws up, and then she throws up yarn, which is hilarious.
Well, here's the thing. Not only does she throw up, but I think the thing that makes it really kind of risque is the fact that it's like all celebratory and like, yeah, I threw up. I'm willing to go for more.
Yep.
Keep the party going.
So let's see. So then we have the big reveal.
I really think, as you said, it just kind of goes to show you like the barometer for which these SparkShorts are going to be written by Dragon. We're in a completely new territory here, man. I feel like it's fitting that Borrowed Time gave us the first of these kind of SparkShorts because we're in the Wild West with Pixar Dragon.
Yes. Anything goes, literally it's all on the table. So then we have the really great kind of musical crescendo of it all right here. This is great. So it's coming in the scene, I should say. So basically, we have like the music kind of slows down for a moment. We have the kind of that jazzy, as we have like the big shocking moment happen here where they're in the elevator, and but right before they all get on, the new girl enters. The new yarn girl. We should be very specific. Lacey enters.
Yes.
Basically, a yellow ball of yarn. Very yellow. Ball of yarn enters. Says, "Oh man, I had a heck of a time finding the place." And basically going on about like, "Oh boy, she's so plucky." That's the thing about Lacey; she's just so darn plucky. Even more plucky than Purl. So Purl has a moment here. They all look to Purl like, "How should we react, Purl?" Again, they're all now deferring to Purl at this moment, whether it's because it's appropriate or because like Purl's our new official leader. We gotta run it by Purl, man.
Mm-hmm.
And Purl says, "Leave the knitting at your nana's house." So, I mean, that's a big moment. Like, oh, Purl, say it ain't so. Turning on a ball of yarn, man. That's heresy. So, Lacey's all optimistic.
But again, I love how the short, as you said, Dragon, it does this great kind of economic use of time where, in what, like 6 minutes at this point, we've already established like that this is like such, the heresy that's committed here. You have to build up that heresy. You have to kind of build up why it's such a big deal that he's doing it to begin with.
And story-wise, my favorite choice in the whole thing happens. So this is what I love. So again, this is basically all the kind of the risque choices that we made. All like kind of we're going here, and we're not even beyond that. Just all the story that we've built up in the previous 6 or so minutes that we've set up, that we're invested in Purl's journey here. Again, impressively, we have invested in the journey, and we're all sold on that. And again, we have some risque choices, which kind of say everything, sky's the limit, anything could happen. But and because of that, we facilitate the big moment of change, and that's my favorite moment in this whole thing here, because again, it lulls you into that sense of this could end really dark.
Mm-hmm.
It could, and that's my favorite element of the SparkShorts. That now we're basically this ushers in what the SparkShorts are all about. That like Borrowed Time, this could end darkly, and like Borrowed Time, it kind of has a moment where it is still dark and things aren't hunky dory, but by the same token, there is optimism in there. That's kind of so they end up going the way of Borrowed Time, which is a smart choice, but by the same token, with all these shorts coming out, they don't have to end all happy-go-lucky. They don't have to balance it out if they don't want to, and that's the really exciting thing from a story perspective. These shorts are going to do. So, she can't wait to be. I can't wait to be part of the team, and of course, like they're all in the elevator, and again, this is when the score's coming back, and this is my favorite part of the score, by the way, where it's like it's coming to play. It's really kind of a sad, jazzy kind of a jazzy wind down. It's like it sounds like, oh boy, it's going to end really dark right now. She's going to like Purl again is going to not go for the moment of change. She's going to Purl is not going. Purl has been conformed, and she's not going to be open minded. She's not going to like kind of double back and kind of wake up and see herself in the mirror. Essentially, she sees Lacey in the exact same position that she was in. abandoned, alone while everybody's going to Swifties, alone in the office, which is a great visual symbol we had earlier on, by the way, that we have repeated again. And Pearl's seeing this, and she's forsaking another ball of yarn. The elevator doors are beginning to close, and she sees her ID badge, the symbol of what she once was. She sees her old ID photo of her being a ball of yarn before she was kind of in her pearled form. And the big moment of change happens again. It could have gone either way, and Pearl looks at the badge and she kind of slides through the door at the last seconds, and then, of course, they're opening the door again, like, "Hey, Pearl, what are you doing?" And maybe you want to take us through this?
Uh, sorry. Let's see.
Pearl slides out of the elevator.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. I'm sorry, Dragon. Yeah, she slides out of the elevator. I like how the doors open, and the guys are like, "Wait, Pearl, what are you doing? Where are you going, man?" And then Pearl just she extends a hand. She's the first one to really, she breaks new ground, if you will, Dragon. She's a trailblazer. She extends a hand to Lacey, as we learn is her name. Kind of gets her to be part of the group, and the group is at first reluctant, but then kind of takes a liking to her as we see, and it's then we kind of do a great sort of flash forward to see how far we've come since then.
Well, real quick, I just want to. Don's making some excellent points here. It'd be remiss if we didn't bring them up. And she loved, Donovan loved how last minute, Pearl was to kind of help Lacey out. Again, loved how kind of last minute before, she kind of slipped out of the doors to kind of have that change of heart that kind of got her back to her senses. And again, and I absolutely agree, Donovan, there's an unpredictable sense of tension that, again, you don't know how it's going to go with these shorts. That's the sell right there. And again, looking at the tag is a great use of symbolism. I concur absolutely. So anyway, yes. So we had the flash forwards. The flash forward is great here. And again, honestly, just the moment in itself and this ending, but even like that moment when they're all in the elevator, again, it's kind of a great kind of a workplace PSA. It's kind of it's embracing and respecting your coworkers, and being welcome, basically give the proper welcome wagon. Don't just try to don't let them have to wait and wait and wait to kind of be accepted. Extend the hand, say hello, welcome to lunch once in a while. It's a really good PSA in that regard.
Yeah, I'd like, it's also a really interesting, I feel like you could teach this in a gender identities class and a racial identities class, because it's there's so many different interpretations of it, and that's really what I like about it, Dragon. That's really kind of the big strong suit of it, is that it's a positive message, but it's a message that can really be applied to so many different scenarios. And I think that's the point with the yarn. As I said before, the yarn can be crafted into so many different things. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm kind of circling in on myself with my points here. Let's wrap this up.
Right. So then we have the full circle again. The full circle welcome in this flash forward here, where now Purl is giving. I love how we reverse the shot too. So now Purl is giving the welcome orientation to a human. Again, we reverse the staging, which is great, and says, "It's unbelievable that I'm here." I would say it's unbelievable. She kind of owns the phrase now. She's kind of owning, she's reversing the dialogue of that scene. That's really good. And now we see, basically, we reveal the workplace is now very integrated, as it were. We see a lot of. It's not only the fact we have a lot of other yarn personnel at the workplace, but also we have the men. They aren't in this unified. They're not in their unified black suits or black or gray suits. They're now a lot of them are wearing colored shirts, and they're all a lot brighter. The workplace looks a lot more friendly and inviting and diverse. And again, to me, that's the message of Pixar. I mean, from the very beginning, Pixar is as a workplace, we kind of set it apart from various things. And I think what defines a good workplace, a creative workplace, that if everyone's telling the same story, if everyone's if everyone's the same, where's the creativity? You stifle the creativity if everyone's the same, working kind of a unified front. You have different people kind of collaborating in the same workplace, like Pixar does. The cubicles of then, and of course now the atrium of now. You embrace a lot more great ideas, and that's kind of, again, that to me kind of summarizes kind of what set Pixar as a company. Again, that if you want to look in the grand scheme of things, you had a former animation job, and now we kind of enter into kind of the Pixar atrium at the very end here. So that's kind of what it feels like thematically, I guess. So I have a good feeling about this. Yeah, so tell us about yourself. And we love a good yarn. And that's a great line. We love a good yarn. It's always like a
It's a good
scare
way to
because
go out. It's a great kind of final line. It sort of sums everything up. Like, yeah, this was a good yarn, both figuratively and literally. And ha ha ha, we're all about the metaphors here on Purl. So nice way to tie everything together in that regard.
of course we have like Purl being invited to Swifties. Hey Purl, you on for Swifties tonight? Is a wool sweater scratchy? Ha ha ha. And yeah, that's the end.
Whew, all right, Dragon. So final thoughts on my end. I'm sorry, I hand wrote my notes and I got a little kind of scraggly there for a second, but my bad. Anyways, I think as we keep on saying, this shows a lot of potential. I'm excited to see if they do any past the initial six. I wonder, because I feel like it could really open the groundwork up to some voices in Pixar that haven't necessarily got their chance to shine in the spotlight. Of course, that's one of the big reasons why we're excited for this, but also just the thematic potential, just the fact that it's just they could basically do anything, it's like within reason, within like anything that's not going to be like terribly shockingly offensive or anything like that. And we know Pixar, we know they're classy, we know they value a good story over anything else. So, I can tell you that I can almost guarantee you there's not going to be anything gratuitous in these shorts, and I'm just really looking forward to it. In terms of Purl as a short just unto itself, it's a good kind of launching point, a good episode one after the pilot that was borrowed time, if you will. It kind of set the stage. It gave us a world of literal walking metaphors, which I found very interesting. To me, I feel like I think you like it more as a character piece, Dragon. I like it more as like a talk piece, like sort of like a litmus test, if you will, where it's like, okay, like let's hold this up to the let's hold this up to a magnifying glass and really see what you can get out of this. Like that's what fascinates me about this short is the whole idea that it's just very, very densely layered and it's almost intended to not be able to really come up with any concrete solutions for what it means, except for the fact that what it means isn't really relevant is kind of the point. So that's what it means, I guess, Dragon. Case solved. Anyways, your final thoughts?
Right. Well, I also want to point out Donovan's point out that basically what he got from was it's about embracing differences, and I agree. Yes, this is about embracing differences. It's a positive message. And for me, to keep it simple, it's a strong story. It has a lot of it has a lot of resonance, some good comedy. And there's a lot of humanity in it. And humanity with a ball of yarn, go figure, but it works. It's very worthy of kind of the borrowed time pantheon to me. It is, again, in a different way, but of course. But I think it's in that it's kind of cut from the same cloth of, again, it's kind of a story, just kind of telling itself, being unfettered. It's not really. It's maybe like this to me isn't something like I put it this way. In a sane world, like yes, this could be in front of a Pixar short, but you know what? In a commercial world, I don't think like if you had to sell this to somebody for like, hey, what short are you going to put in front of the new Pixar movie? Like the Disney executives kind of getting the okay, like okay, here's what we're going to put in front of the Pixar short. I says, you know what? Let's go with something a little bit more commercial. Maybe it's like I'm not saying all the Pixar shorts have to be commercial, but it's like sometimes some shorts they have to kind of correlate to the movie or kind of have to sell or kind of put the audience in a certain mood. And this one's like there's a chance we might never see a short like this outside of the SparkShorts program. So I'm really glad that we had, and I'm so glad that Borrowed Time can open the door for these sorts of shorts to be made, these very creator-driven shorts to be made again, but still with the Pixar charm. I love they still have. I think the worst case scenario is that these would just feel like I can't tell how many times you go on YouTube and you see like all these shorts where they try using the name Pixar. And I get sick and tired of them and say, "Hey, long lost Pixar short," or like Pixar short, and again, it's basically people using their animation test and they're comparing it to Pixar as like CG short or something along those lines. I see so many of those. And I love the fact that the Pixar, they're actually doing these and they're actually living up to the hype and living up to the living up to the legacy of the company, but still like honoring that they're going a different way with it. But now it's just like, yes, folks, we embrace this. We're showing you that we embrace this. Hence, like the fancy logo we had at the very start of things here. It's Pixar getting creative and cutting loose for all to see, and I think it's a great thing. I think that Purl is an excellent start for that. So we'll get to the other stuff obviously when we get to it, but Purl, it's excellent. I love it. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So is that about it, Dragon? Are we ready to sign off then?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us, folks. We will certainly, as I said, folks, I can't guarantee a concrete date on the second SparkShorts. There's 3 out so far, right, Dragon? We're
Yes,
halfway through.
there are 3 out so far.
Okay. So, but regardless, we're going to get to them in a timely manner, get them out to you guys and really kind of digest and go over the different potential and the different possibilities that these shorts allow for Pixar on a creative and on a technological level. And that's like kind of the cool idea of Pixar as a whole, is they've always sort of blended creativity and technology. And I feel like these shorts really do this on kind of like a scale in which we've never really seen Pixar be able to do so far, just in terms of just spreading their wings and doing whatever the hell they want to do, frankly. So yeah, with that in mind, folks, do not forget at SYWTBAI55 on Twitter. We're finally there. Hallelujah. And I will see you folks later.
Unbelievable.